a lot of people get confused with something called, scope of work, KPI, SLA. These jargons started to come in the early 2000s, when the industry started to flourish. And everybody wanted to put some kind of a check to the contractor, right? Check to the vendor. And eventually, I think from the client side, it more became how do I catch or how do I penalize my vendor, not even a service partner. And we have faced, I think we all have faced, in Vinayji also, we have faced that journey for so many years, and we still sometimes meet so many customers that always try and speak that language, KPI. Sometimes there is a difference between an SLA and a KPI, and people sometimes don't understand the difference between KPI and SLA. When it comes to scope of work, I'll probably give a little more clarity. A lot of people try and generalize scope of work, or maybe I would say, we're talking about SOP, standard operating procedure. Sometimes it's more like one size fits all, and most of the FM companies, housekeeping companies, try and develop a standard SOP for a standard work. Where I have a different take, and this is my experience and my learning, and I think every single facility is different from another facility, right? Every single sector is different from another sector. Like what SOP would do in a pharma is not applicable in a mall. And what you do in a mall is not applicable in an office. Or what you do in an office is not applicable in the healthcare sector. So I think all of our FM fraternity, we should try and understand that SOPs has to be industry specific or segment specific, and it has to address the pain point. Once you draft a standard operating procedure, and I said earlier, if you do it in a sector-wise, I realized in my 25, 28 years out of journey, last 8 years back, I started to actually work on it. Previously, even I also had the same question, okay, SOP to bana diya, how do I execute, how do I deliver it? It became a challenge. Last 7, 8 years, when I've been heading this company called SMC, and I realized that if you set up a standard operating procedure based on a specific sector, let's say it's a pharma or it's a healthcare, right, or it's a mall, then the execution team cannot be general, right? A guy who sets up or operates a mall will not know how to set up and operate a pharma. A guy who does industrial facility management or a manufacturing segment will not be able to set up the same SOP or execute into a healthcare sector. So there came my quest and my thoughts, and I probably decided to do something like this, is to set up subject matter experts, right? And I would recommend all my professionals, fraternity, think about it. If you want to be professional, if you want to be an expert, based on the sectors that you serve, one is the corporate real estate. That's one large, big chunk. Everybody and anybody is in that sector, right? And then you have pharma, then you have industrial FM, then you have heavy industries, then you have residential FM, you have education sector. Every sector has its own different need. Not one sector is almost, I can give you actual delivery what these sectors ask. But if you do not incubate subject matter experts, start somewhere small, right? Start with 1 or 2 guys per sector, train them well, and make them a subject matter champion, an expert. And whenever that particular sector is into mobilization, put that guy or that girl in the front and say, go and set it up. And that's exactly how I think you can build a very professional facility management business for yourself by having subject matter expert. That's an investment you will have to make. And that's exactly when the customer will see a value. Otherwise, you are just like anybody else. Today you are there, tomorrow you're not there. You are easily replaceable. The industry is suffering so much that we all put together, you and I together, we still accept that stupid. I'm a little more aggressive and passionate, and I love my industry, and I've grown in this industry from scratch, right? So we still accept it unskilled labor. Why are they unskilled? Why are you not asking the question? Why are they unskilled? You think to do a equipment, to do a single test, is it an unskilled job or a roadside job? To really understand the chemical composition and to ensure that you don't have higher concentration R2 that will spoil the marble? These are the questions you should ask. So that's why training comes in picture, because the kind of infrastructure has changed. It requires right application. It requires a skilled training. And that's why these guys cannot be treated as unskilled laborer. They are technically skilled in their job. Whether it is an equipment usage, whether it's a carpet shampooing, whether it's vacuuming, all those are expensive infrastructure, interiors, the organization spend, but they don't understand. They spend 600 crores making a building, but they don't want to have a budget, having a professional company with training to ensure that those surfaces and that infrastructure is maintained in a professional manner.